Just wanted you to get a little bit closer. Click this video, watch this video, or you will die. This week's episode is for you if you're thinking of starting a business. And if you're thinking of starting a business alone, then this video is to tell you to not do that. Do not do it alone. Reach out for some support. This week, I am sitting down with my business partner and my best friend. We are going to answer your questions. Anything you want to know about building a brand. My first and most important piece of advice when starting a business, and I have heard this so many times recently, is do not think that you can do it alone. Quite simply, you just won't. Going into business with my best friend was probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made. So we're going to talk you through how we found the process, where we got the idea from, why we've decided to go into business together, how long we've known each other, where we met, all of those things. Okay, we've changed the angle because why the hell not? We're now on episode 8. This is episode 8. Staying strong. That is a grand total of 2 months of YouTube posting. Thanks for staying with me. And if you do like these videos, please like and subscribe. 75% of the people that watch my YouTube don't subscribe, but yet they keep coming back. So my request to you is to pop your little cursor or your little finger over the subscribe button and hit subscribe, because it makes a massive difference and it really means a lot. I'm here to just talk about building a business and to not be aggressive and to just share the journey. I'm not here to do the whole click this video, watch this video, or you will die kind of title. Do you know what I mean? It's not what I'm about. But anyway, if you could subscribe and you don't subscribe and you watch these videos, then please subscribe. I am back from the south of France. Although, let's be honest guys, it could be the south of France here. The weather is fantastico, bellissimo, wunderbar for any German watchers. Lara, I see you. Oh great. Donnie is actually on his way to Italy now as we speak. I'm not going with him, unfortunately. So I hate to break it to any of the Donnie fans in the room, of which I know there are quite a few, myself included. He won't be in this week's video. So if you're looking for Donnie, please don't skip ahead, leave and go and find him elsewhere on any of the other videos, because I know he is really such a heartthrob of this channel. But do stick around because it's still going to be very interesting. I am walking to Jolie. Ring-a-ding-ding. Good morning! Hello there. Happy days.
Are we live?
We're live.
We're live.
Welcome back.
The little mics.
I'm
We're on
kind
tour.
of obsessed with these. For anybody who doesn't know, this is my wonderful, one of my oldest friends, Jolie Sanderson.
I thought you were going to call me Jolie Walker. I'm half Walker, half Sanderson.
Half
but
Walker, half
hello.
Sanderson. Hello. Here
I'm
she is.
Jolie.
And she is also my business partner. We are answering your questions. You're going to tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay, who am I? Well, me and Hall met way back when in
Totally.
Leeds when we were teenagers.
Yeah, literally. Which was a very short moment ago.
And then we met in our Freshers Week at uni, where we really solidified our friendship, and I ended up sleeping on your floor for a week in Freshers Week because I had no friends. And then that was it, really. Best friends for uni, lived together. Both ended up in London after Hall was in Oz, and both randomly ended up in beauty.
Yes.
You know, I did a drama degree. Hall did a business degree, which is far more relevant. I wrote anyway, so that ended
All
up...
the creative is very much Jolie, that's for sure.
But we, left uni, and I was very lucky to get a job at Elle magazine in the beauty department. So I was beauty assistant there for 3 years, went to Grazia for a year, went back to Elle for a few years, and then I've been at Grazia for 7 years as head of beauty now. In my job, I oversee a lot of the commercial side of things, all of the beauty shoots, events. I've done a podcast, lots of elements. Launched a beauty club, which is a subscription base for Grazia. So yeah, very much involved in lots of different, sectors of the business, which I find really interesting, in that there's lots going on all the time. So lots to juggle, but lots of fun as well. So that is my, career history.
That has led us to this very moment.
That has led us to here.
Sitting on the couch, with you guys.
Okay, I'm going to start with this one because it's relevant to what we've been talking about. You guys have been friends for years. What's a new thing you have learned about each other?
What have I learned since going into this process? Well, we've been, for a bit of context, which I think we can say, we've been working on this since
About
February
15
last
months.
year.
Yeah.
We're now in April 2025. We started this conversation in February 2024.
Over a
And-
friend's birthday lunch.
Yeah,
When I was on maternity leave.
exactly.
I was in
I was
full-time.
full-time working with Caroline, and that was where the idea was born. One of the things I've learned the most, I actually think just how like passionate and invested you are would be one of the biggest. Like, I kind of always knew it, but I guess because Joe and I have like worked in the same industry for quite some time, but not necessarily obviously together. Like Joe and I have never really done anything together from a work capacity, so we've always just kind of like both been on like the peripheral of each other's lives when it comes to work. And yeah, so I've never really worked with you, and then actually now working, I'm like, she's passionate, girl. She's got a lot of ideas.
True. I have a ream of consciousness, and I'm like, we should do this and this and this and this. And Holly's much better at being like, maybe we should dial it back a little bit and just focus on the plan.
So what was it?
Which is what I need.
When
I think I woke up, I was like, I had a dream that we need to change the packaging. And you're like, no, we don't.
No, she was like, tell me I'm wrong. I went, you're wrong. Because
I listened to it.
The dynamic between us both, I think, works so well because we both have, like, Joe's obviously very much creative. I'm a bit more like logic business. And you really do need, having seen that with Caroline and how Caroline works in the business when she is the ideas person.
Yeah.
It's really important to have like both, because sometimes I can be a bit too like, and I know that that's irritating, but it's a good balance.
Yeah, definitely balance.
And also you need soundboard ideas. Sometimes you can't like go, if it was me, I'd just go with every first decision I ever made, which is the worst thing to do ever.
No, but actually interestingly, we often end up back at our first decision.
It's so true.
But then you have to workshop all of the other ideas to realize that your gut and your instinct for the first thing was the best idea.
That's very
which
true.
is often the way. The most surprising thing is just I don't even like this word, but how much of a boss you are. Like, she just knows everything. I'm learning like lingo that I didn't even like. It's really obvious, but I had no idea
It's not
about.
really obvious though.
It is, but you know all of these things, and you've built businesses. Like, you don't do yourself a disservice. You know everything about what there is to build a business. So I have learned a lot from you already.
Likewise.
And I think I've always wanted to do something like this, and I think maybe further down the line I'd have had like the confidence to do it. But doing it with Hall has massively given me the confidence to be able to do it and just be like, fuck it, let's just go for it.
Literally.
And like James always says that, he's like, you just have to try.
Yeah.
Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? So I think that confidence and just taking a very fuck it attitude is has been a big one. And I've been very inspired. Like, Hall left an amazing full-time job, and has just left and launched this YouTube, a consultancy business, this brand that we've been working on for, like I said, 15 months. What else are you doing? You bought an Airbnb, renting out an Airbnb. Amazon.
Well, you know.
She's launching Amazon things. So yeah, so I'm like, well, if Hall can do all of those things, then I can do this.
You 100% can do that. And also I think that's like,
yeah, but I don't know the business side, but I feel like I'm learning, which is
that's
really
where
good.
we mesh. And also, like you said, it's only because I've done it before for other people, and that's why like working with Caroline was such a blessing in so many ways, because you've learned. But at the same time, sometimes I look at you and I go, I wish I had, and I mean this in a positive way, I wish I had the naivety of not knowing, because actually I can see how your thought process goes to stuff, and I'm like, I wish I.
You're like, I know the downfalls of that.
No, because I'm thinking of all the negatives, and that's not always necessarily like a good place to be.
Yeah.
So like, it's a fine. I wish I could kind of.
Yeah, but I'm probably blue sky thinking like we need to do this, and you're like, actually, realistically, we need this and this budget. And I'm like, oh, okay.
But you do need a balance.
Also, I think something that has been really good between us, like that conversation where I messaged Hall at 7 a.m. in the morning, be like, I was thinking about this at 3 a.m. But you were like, okay, well, let's talk about it. But no, you're like, okay,
no,
I don't think so, but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So you can workshop every idea, but whereas when you're on your own and you're in your own head, It was all the
roadblocks.
time, yeah.
I always say you should actually say this at the beginning of this video, as you will have already seen, because you'll have already watched that intro. This whole experience has taught me, it's like, I would literally not change it for the world. I would not do this on my, if I was doing this on my own, I just would never have done it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a fact.
Yeah. Anyway, that was just question 1.
Forget
Are
about
you making a beauty brand together or consultancy company?
A lot of people have asked that. No, it's not a consultancy business.
It's a product. Something you can buy physically.
Well,
But
is it a beauty brand?
it's not a beauty
It's not like a
brand.
traditional beauty brand, but we've definitely approached. I love how, and I think this is very unique. Obviously, I would say that I'm incredibly biased.
We hope so.
This is where sales me kicks in.
Yeah.
But no, I think that I really like how we are meshing our beauty backgrounds with what we're doing, because they are technically, I guess, quite different in the sense of what they functionally do. But I do think that we are blending two worlds together that I don't think has actually really been done that effectively yet.
And like when we came up with the idea, it was so organic. I think it's pointless launching a brand into a really oversaturated space unless you're going to do something differently. There is no point, especially if you've not got a celebrity like backing behind you, not a celebrity launching a brand, or someone with a huge audience already. It's pointless. So you have to think about unique selling point and what you are going to bring, and that your audience are out there and that there's a need and a want for your product. And if there's a need and a want and you can give it to them, then hopefully it will fly.
$1 billion brand. I shouldn't say dollar, actually. £1 billion brand.
£1 billion brand. I also think, and I think about this as just businesses in general, not even speaking specifically to ours, but you can do things that have been done before, but just do them the best. Like Tony Chocolonely. It's not like they've done chocolate before. That is the best chocolate. The jelly cat toys.
Yeah.
Like it's a teddy bear, and they've made it this whole world that they've got a huge pop-up in Selfridges with a queue literally out the door. And it's stuffed toys, but it's amazing branding. They know who they are. They jump on trends.
We live in a very consumerist world. I actually think, especially in the beauty space, because obviously we've seen that a lot, I actually think it's quite negligent and irresponsible to launch brands if there isn't that unique sense of purpose behind what it is that you're doing, and just launching it for the sake of it. Because let's be honest, Brad Pitt, sit back
what
down.
A don't need stupid brand.
Has anyone bought that? Comment below if you have.
I can't remember the name of it.
That's how much of an impact it made on us all, and that's
we would have bought Angelina, Brad, your heart, but no,
leave it to the professionals.
No, I'm not interested.
I actually had a question then, thinking about off the back of what you, before all of this, did you ever have hopes or dreams to launch a beauty brand?
Not a beauty brand, no, never.
Did you not?
Always wanted to launch a brand, always wanted to do business. But beauty, I don't know. I don't know if you just work in it so much that you're not bored of it.
Yeah.
But you see it all day, every day. To be honest, my biggest passion, I would say, is food. So I always thought, I always thought I would do something in food. And like James and I went to America for 7 weeks and did a road trip. And I had so many ideas. You know when you switch off?
Yeah.
Like it's the first big, I've been at work, luckily, since I was 21 and never had a break. And we had 7 weeks off. And I had so many ideas. I had a really good idea for a food brand. But then I went back to work and didn't do it. But like if I had pursued that then, like you don't know what that could have become now. So not going to make that mistake again.
No, exactly. You have to go after these things. Also, there's still time. Food can be an extension.
Yeah, we could do a food brand.
We're down for a food brand.
We could be real entrepreneurs. But actually not like Cocoa Pops. When I was pregnant, I used to have about 3 bowls of crunchy nut cornflakes every single day. To the point that I put it on Instagram, and they sent me, I reckon, 15 boxes. Wow. How long did they last you? Not that long. Well, I was living in a small flat in London at the time. I was like, I could get 3. They were under the bed. I didn't have anywhere to put them. So yeah, not very long.
Under the bed?
Yeah.
Love it.
In the flat.
Love it.
Along with 3 Kit Kats a day. Anyway, I digress. But do you each have different roles, expertise, or both doing a little bit of everything?
I think we definitely know our strengths, like each of us. I think in the
also I know my weaknesses.
I'm the same. But I think at the beginning, it's quite hard. One of the biggest pieces of advice someone gave to me was when building a brand, especially when there is 2 of you, but obviously at the beginning it is just the 2 of us and our manufacturing and everything, but like they don't work for us, is to assign roles, because otherwise then if you don't have clear roles, or at least as clear as they can be, it can become quite challenging, because you end up like ultimately like just duplicating the work, and it then means that people have focus. But if I'm completely honest, I don't think those roles will like fully come into effect until we've launched.
Yeah.
Because at the minute, obviously, we're two people trying to do everything. Like Joe, you said this morning, we're CEO, CFO, CMO, CBO.
Like, I genuinely can't do basic maths.
That's not
so
true.
I'm like, so how do we make this profitable with like giving without, we want it to make it affordable for our consumer.
I love a spreadsheet. Well, we both love spreadsheets.
Like, so Hull definitely does all of that side of things and the business thing. And like I said, I've learned, I don't even know what an MOQ was.
Neither did I when I first found out.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly. We all have to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I guess from my side of things, like very into the creative, the design, the wording, the branding, the name.
And I think being able to like allow each of us to have those things, like I would say I'm a creative person,
massively.
But at the same time, I learned that a lot when I was with CH. How much you want to do, but you just have to accept sometimes you can't do it all. I trust Joe implicitly on, anything, but like especially when it comes to the creative and all of that, the copy and all of that, because that's her expertise. So I think sometimes you have to accept that, like, as much as you might want to do it all, sometimes it's not like you don't have to do it all either.
You could do it all though. I couldn't do it all because I haven't had that experience in it. Whereas Hull has had an experience in basically a bit of everything. Which is why I think you're, one, consultancy will fly, but two, your experience is invaluable. You've done really well working with founders and startups, because you don't get that in a big brand. You wouldn't get stuck in at the, base level and learn all of that information working up. So I think that's super valuable. But yes, get stuck in with everything, but different expertise.
Okay, so we got carried away and the entire episode was probably about 40 minutes. Now, to protect your time, and the likelihood is you don't want to sit and listen to us chew the fat for 40 minutes, or maybe you do, but don't worry, because we're going to come back in next week's episode with part 2. So we are coming back. We've answered a few of your questions, and we're going to see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you next week.